Good morning, YouTube family. Merry Christmas to you guys. We're actually the day after Christmas right now. This is Escape from Crazytown, where we want to get out of Crazytown, right, you guys? Welcome to Happy Crappy Hour and happy Thursday to you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be. I'm hoping that a friend, well, YouTube friend, right, who wrote in recently said she's from the Philippines. I hope you're able to make it. I know it's midnight there right now, so I really need to consider maybe making another live stream during different times of the day. But welcome today, you guys. I am so excited to see you or be here with you. I got you an extra treat, a muffin today, as you can see. So, hey, we have a great topic for you today, but I want to start with letting you know what Happy Crappy Hour is about. Happies are about what you are learning, and actually, happies and crappies are both about what you're learning. The happies are the good things that are happening in your life and the good choices you're making. You want to learn from those and you want to keep doing those. The crappies are, of course, the bad things that are happening to you or bad choices that you're making and the consequences. You want to learn from those so that you don't repeat these crappies, right? And also become stronger and get yourself out of crazy town. That's how you do it. You learn from your happies and your crappies. And that's how we get ourselves out of crazy town, while the narcissist tends to stay in crazy town. Yes. So today our topic is about whether you can help the narcissist get out of crazy town. So many of us go through that because if you still have a narcissist in your life or you're still pining for a narcissistic ex, someone that you discarded or who has discarded you, you still have feelings for them, you still love them, and you want to help them get out of crazy town. You want them to be with you, right? To be in the living world, in sanity, living in sanity. So, not insanity, right? Living in the world of sanity. So, that's why I wanted to tell you guys what happened in my conversation recently with a narcissist who's still in my life. A few weeks ago, I had told you guys during one of my happy crappy hours that this person had called me and left me a message. I was not able to answer the phone at that time, so I got this message from her that said um, that that she had something really important to talk to me about and that it was sad. And in her voice, she sounded like she was really sad. Like I had not heard her like this before. I mean, heard her sad, but it sounded like she was thinking deep things, And I thought, wow, is she having some self reflection? This is something really intriguing because I have yet to hear a narcissist have real self reflection. I've had some interactions with other narcissists besides this one. And even with this one who thought, why do things keep happening to me? And they might even think, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. I could have done better. That type of, confession, if you will. But they rarely go beyond that. They rarely actually ever change themselves. They rarely ever get to, or actually never, in my experience, have gotten to the point where they allowed their self reflection or self questioning to change their behavior. So that's why I was so intrigued to call this narcissist back and get the story, right? See what's going on with her. So you guys, I'm just adjusting my camera here. Uh, hey, you guys, I'm glad you're hopping on. Good to see you, John and Obi. Great to see you guys. Let me see if I can change this to regular live chat so we can see everybody. Awesome. So, yeah. I want to share with you, though, what my happies and crappies are this week, and I hope you share with me your happies and crappies, too. So let's start with that. My happy was that, oh my gosh, we got to go see the new Star Trek movie last night. I loved it. Okay, I loved it. Yeah, it was corny. At one, maybe a couple of parts. I think only one part for me was a little over the top corny, but I love it. I guess maybe I like a little bit of corniness, but it was funny. There were funny parts in it. I think the banter was much better than other movies I've seen recently. Um, and of course, it was good. I really enjoyed the storyline. I think it kind of brought it back to the original Star Wars, the way the storyline was back then. Uh, so that I really appreciated. So you guys, just wanted to tell you. So I went out last night and we stayed up way, way too late. So that's kind of my crappy. I did get up this morning. I allowed myself to sleep in a bit. So if I seem a little bit, I don't think I'm off this morning, but earlier I did feel a little bit off. I felt like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to even be able to stay on topic today, but I know that I can because I took notes and I got up in time to write them out so that I'm not going to go all over the place with you guys. So, yeah, Metal Gear, good to see you. It's been a while. So glad to see you here. And Heather, good morning. I'm so glad you're here. Obi says, I so want to share my story, but soon. Yes, yes. I can't wait to hear your story, Obi. You've been keeping me on this hook for a while now. But yeah, I'm praying for you, Obi. I hope that you're doing really well. I'm glad to hear you tell me that you're doing well. And so I don't need to hope, I guess, anymore. I know you're doing well. And I'm just excited that you've gotten to this point where you're seeing more clearly, you're getting your life back in order, and you're getting stronger, healthier. I just love all of that, Obi. You are a success. I just want to let you know that you're a success and you're strong and you're going to make it. You're on your way. So I'm so excited for your future. I cannot wait to hear you share more about what's going on in your life. So Metal Gear says, this month is my first year of no contact. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, that's fantastic. And that's part of Obi's story right now. He's been saying multiple times that he has gone no contact and how it has just revolutionized his life. And that's what I'm hoping for each of you guys. If you have a narcissist in your life and they're still affecting you in that terrible negative way, you have to go no contact. You have to. Now, I have some narcissists that are still in my life, and the reason for that is because I have been able to build the proper boundaries and set the proper boundaries with them. I'm willing to give a certain amount, and I know what I'm willing to give, and I know where I'm not willing to give or how far, right? Once that boundary's been crossed, I have an exit strategy. I know how to get myself out of the situation. And I've also made, what is it? I'm trying to decide how to say this, but I've made a contract, I guess, or an agreement with myself where I have decided that if extracting myself at that moment where I need to exit an abusive situation, if extracting myself means that the relationship ends, I'm okay with that. So that means the relationship no longer has control over me or power over me to keep me in an abusive situation. So if a narcissist becomes abusive, becomes a certain way with me that drags me back into their crazy town, I can walk away. And if walking away makes them say, that's it, if you leave now, we're never going to be friends again, or they're going to cut me out of their life, I'm okay with that because that toxicity is worth giving up. So you guys, I love that you're saying, Metal Gear, that you have gone no contact, because if that's what you need in order to heal, that's what you have to do. No contact is not the worst thing in the world. It's painful at first, but then you start to heal and you start to feel like, oh my gosh, I should have done this so much sooner. And your life starts to open up for you again. So you guys, I'm so excited to hear how things are going for you. And I'm glad to hear that. Obi says, narcs are sneaky and probably watch this as we're speaking. Yes, yes. And you know what? I'm okay with that. if narcissists are listening, and I've had a few, or at least two that I know of that have contacted me, um, saying that they are narcissists, they've professed it, themselves. And I want to engage with the narcissist because I'm not here to bash the narcissist, although what they do is horrible. Okay. So if you're a narcissist and you're watching this and you're feeling like you're getting bashed, what I'm bashing is the behavior. Okay. And we're still trying to understand why you behave the way you do, but we're also pretty convinced that you're not willing to change. So if you're willing to change, though, convince us. Stay in the conversation. See where it leads. Be willing to hear the hard things. And those are the things I've seen narcissists are not willing to do. And if you're not willing to do that, that you have your free will, you have your choices to make as well. There's nobody holding you back. And we don't blame you or anything if you are uncomfortable to stay or uncomfortable to discuss, but you want to hear and you want to learn because you're starting to question yourself. This I want people to be able to question themselves and see, where they need to change and try to make those changes in their life. Take some direction in their life that gets them out of Crazytown. So let me see here. Just be real. Good morning. Good to see you. And Plainfield Quakers says you rock. Thank you. I hope if that's about me, thank you. If it's about Obi, that's great. Just be real. I never make it that far. LOL. Do you mean as far as going no contact, or as far as being okay with losing that relationship if it comes to that? If it comes to saving yourself or losing the relationship, save yourself, because the relationship is not something that's going to get better. It's not something that's going to become healthy. It's never going to actually be healthy. It'll be tolerable. It will be a one-way street. Sometimes the narcissist may give back to you a little bit or some, but they're not going to be the person that you wish they were. Like if they were your spouse, they're not going to be the spouse you always wish you had, right? Someone who loves you and has your back and wants to protect you. That's not the narcissist way. But they'll say these things. They'll say they'll die for you. They'll protect you. You're their priority. You're their soulmate. You're the one person who understands them. Therefore, they want to protect you. They'll say these things, but they'll throw you under the bus. They will when they're done with you. When you're done, they're tired of the supply that you give. So it's not lifelong. It's only momentary for the narcissist. But anyway, I'm sorry, you guys. I am getting off because I'm answering some of the replies you're making here. And the replies are great. I love your comments. I love to hear where you are and what's going on in your life. So Obi says, I'm not, what is this? Because I have to be careful what I say. Oh, okay. I know, same story, different night, but mine is a one-of-a-kind incident. Okay. And this is why I am anonymous, you guys. I know some people have asked, why don't you show your face? Why are you, are you afraid? Are you, whatever? I don't even understand. I mean, I understand why people want to see a face, but honestly, I don't think it's necessary. I think, in fact, it kind of protects me from getting too full of myself, honestly, because sometimes, I don't know, staring at yourself on a screen, I don't know, it could become a little too distracting, right, for people, for themselves. So I want to be focused. I want to be focused on you guys. I want to be focused on the stories that are being told here. I want to focus on healing. I want to focus on what we're learning. So another reason that I also am anonymous is because I have narcissists still in my life, and it protects them, but it also protects the people who know them, because I don't want to pull this into a giant drama fest, okay? And as you know, flying monkeys and narcissists love drama fest. So they will, like Obi was saying, they will watch channels like this, and especially if they know the person who who's doing the channel, who's hosting the channel, and they'll then disperse this information amongst the flying monkeys and make life miserable for everybody who's involved. And I just don't want to do that. I just want to have this environment as a healing environment. I want this place to be safe for everybody. So that's why I stay anonymous. And this way I can also share with you a little bit more detail, right, than normally I would. If I showed my face, I would keep everything so plain and general that it would be hard to explain. So, you guys, Crystal, good to see you. See, Thomas, good morning. Universe, good morning. So, I never, Just Be Real says, I never make it that far. Oh, yeah, to no contact. I tried to leave, but it never lasts. PTSD now, and I just don't like being alone. Yes, yeah, totally understand that. And I know a lot of people here have gone through that, and I know they'll be responding to you and letting you know, encouraging you to go no contact, and how that has saved them and how that has affected them after they went no contact. At first, you might think, there's no way I can do this. But believe me, once you do it, once you get over that hump, okay? Once you get over that part that's so painful, the pain may still linger, but you're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, and you're not going to want to go back into Crazytown. It's really good. So you guys, let me see. I'm trying to do this in a different way. I have my computer set up next to me. My phone is recording and my computer is next to me. So I'm going to try to read comments on my computer, because every time I touch my phone screen, as you saw earlier, the picture goes in and out of focus. So I'm going to see if I can do this. I think I missed some people, so I'm going to go back a little bit. Heather, good morning. Oh, where am I? Oh, Heather says, I love that I had a beautiful, fun, zero drama Christmas this year. First time in 7 years. It was amazing. Zero contact equals happiness. Yes, yes, yes. This is what I'm hoping that you guys hear more of. And those of you who are staying in contact with toxic people who remain toxic in your relationship and have no boundaries in your relationship, if you're still in contact with those people, I hope that you're encouraged by people's testimonies here to go no contact and to get stronger. Even if you say to go no contact for a year, or give yourself a time, 6 months, something like that. But it has to be longer than just 1 month or 1 week. It really does, because you have to do a lot of work on yourself to get stronger. Well, you guys, we are 18 minutes in, and I do want to get to the story. Thank you so much for coming on. Universe, good to see you. But I also want to acknowledge those of you who are coming on and let you know how much I do appreciate you being here. Mike, good to see you. All right. Okay, I'm just reading a couple of the comments here. So if you guys are listening on a podcast or something, go to my YouTube channel, to Escape from Crazytown. You'll be able to read all of the comments. I try to hit the highlights. I try to catch as many as I can, but I may miss some. Those of you who are on YouTube and you want to just listen to the podcast, or to the what am I saying? To the Happy Crappy Hour without all the commercial interruptions, go to a podcast. I'm pretty much everywhere on the podcast, the major ones. Escape from Crazytown, so find me there. And if you listen to me on a podcast, actually, I would ask you to go ahead and listen to me on one, or go to a podcast and give me a review, because that will boost the channel to get out to more people, this content to get out to more people, and hopefully help more people. Because let me tell you, okay, one of the points that I want to bring up today about helping the narcissist get out of Crazytown, and why, we're thinking about that, and we're wondering, how do we get the narcissist out of Crazytown? We want to bring them into the sane world with us, right? Into a logical world with us. We see that they're unhealthy. We see that they have all kinds of issues in their life. And we know that we can help them, right? We just know the things that would help them. But we're 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 trying to treat them the way we treat normal people. And that's what I want to educate people. Sorry, you guys, I have a bug here. I'm gonna try to get. So there's this thing that we think about everybody. We're thinking everybody has the basic normal sense of logic or sense of sympathy or sense of relationship, right? And so we approach even narcissists this way because at first, before we even know that narcissists exist, of course, we assume this is how you approach everybody. And the response should be logical, right? To your reasoning. It should be logical what their response is. But narcissists do not respond in a logical manner. They respond in a very narcissistic manner. And that's where everything goes off the rails, where the train goes off the rails and you're left wondering what is happening. I don't understand. I'm trying to be loving and they're attacking me for being loving and they're twisting my words and they're remembering things that did not happen, right? It seems like they're in this delusion. It's because they're in a delusion. So you guys, let me get to the story that brought me to this topic today. So a few weeks ago, it was my mom. This is a big reason why I don't show my face, because she is still part of my life. And I'll tell you why later. She's still a part of my life. But she called me a few weeks ago to say she's really sad and she has something important to tell me. She sounded really sad, and I thought, oh my gosh, I got to call her back. I got to talk to her. But I was so busy. I had so many things going on. It was never the right time. And she doesn't live in the same town with me. So we're a few time zones apart. And I knew, like, by the time I'm ready to call her, she's asleep. So I was like, well, I did not get to talk to her until just now, right? Just recently, this past weekend. I think it was this weekend. Yeah, it was this past weekend. So I went out and to visit family, and I did visit her. I didn't bring it up. She brought it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the thing that she was going to talk to me about. And I was anticipating hearing her tell me what's going on in her life that's so deep, that's so impressing on her heart. And she did. She took my hand and she pulled me aside, and she's like, there's something I need to tell you. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is this? Okay, what is she going to tell me? And she goes into something that happened 36 years ago. 36 years ago. Okay, she tells me about how her father, my grandfather, passed away. And now she is convinced that her siblings, or one of her siblings, confessed to her. She considers this a confession to her, that she injected him with something to euthanize him, to kill him, right? And she has told all of her other siblings this. Okay, I'm trying to give you this story the way she gave it to me. She's told all of her other siblings this, and they got all upset, like, what the heck, right? So they call the sibling that confessed, or told my mom that she gave my grandfather this injection. And they, of course, call that other sibling, and that sibling says, no, the sister I told it to misunderstood me, and that's not what happened. So now people are just letting my mom know, oh, you just misunderstood. That's not what happened. It was morphine she was giving him, which is, by the way, I don't know what country you're in, but where I am, when the person goes into hospice at home, and the doctors and nurses know they only have maybe 2 days left, a day, less than a week to survive, and the person wants to pass away at home, they give the caretaker, the relative or the caretaker, some morphine to keep the pain down for the hospice patient. And not only that, I actually went through this because I had to do this for my father. They gave me morphine to give him, so I'm aware of that. Anyway, what happens is I'm kind of confused because, from this side, I was thinking, what do you mean? I always heard of morphine as being really bad for you and could kill you, right? And I guess I should probably look it up again some more, but um, what I understand is my relative who was with my grandfather gave him morphine to for his pain, and then he passed away. Well, no, my mom took it as she gave him an injection that euthanized him. Well, he wasn't even conscious. Like the last few days of his life, and I don't know how long it was. This is 36 years ago, so I'm only hearing it from others anyway because I was not there. They gave him morphine. He wasn't even conscious, and then he passed away. So now, 36 years later, my mom wants to make this crazy, dramatic re-entrance about my grandfather's death. She's mad at my other relatives because they don't believe her. And just because they say to her, look, maybe you misunderstood, she took it as an insult and as them, what is it, attacking her, causing injury to her, to tell her they don't believe her. So she's very insulted by that, and she's very wounded by that. And I could see it because, her face, she's just like traumatized that they think that maybe she misunderstood. To her, she considers that them thinking she's lying to them, to the equivalent of lying to them, which then, of course, upsets her. So let me tell you guys, I had a choice here as I'm standing there listening to her tell me this story. Do I go along and tell her what pretty much everybody else is thinking, right? Because I can imagine what everybody else is thinking. Do I reinforce that? Do I try to bring her back to logic, right? Like, maybe you did misunderstand. But she was adamant, by telling me, when she was telling me how the others don't understand her, she was adamant that she did not misunderstand and that she wants them to believe her. She almost pretty much requires them to believe her. She doesn't want anything to do with them, which she knows is, even she admitted that, like, she can only hold a grudge so long with them because, as you know, narcissists need their supply. So she will talk to them again, but she, for now, is really upset with them, and she's throwing this bomb into the family once again to bring incredible drama, fighting, people taking sides. That's what she loves. She loves it when people take sides, and especially, of course, when they take her side. So guess what she does? She calls the other narcissist in the family, okay? Oh my gosh. So the other narcissist, I have talked about this in a past Happy Crappy Hour, narcissist plus narcissist equals Crazytown or something like that, or Super Crazytown. I will post that as a little link here on the YouTube channel, as a little eye icon to the right of the screen here. It'll come on once I post this Happy Crappy Hour and upload that. It's about these two, the brother and sister. They're the two big narcissists in the family, and they hate each other. They have been mortal enemies, have gone years without talking to each other, but they always come back to each other because one needs the other for financial security, and the other needs the first one for moral support. Even though they backstab each other continually, they hate each other, they talk badly about one another, but they each believe that they are controlling the other. So, of course, she calls that one narcissist sibling, and that sibling gives her the support she needs, right? She wants that one because she's convinced that one needs her, so she can manipulate him into being on her side and fighting everybody else on her behalf. Now, narcissists rarely will fight other people for other people's behalf. They only do it if they get something out of it. And I don't think he's going to get anything out of it. So I don't believe he is fighting anybody because nobody is saying anything about him. Nobody's saying that he's mad at them. Nobody's seeing that it's these two against them. They're just wondering why my mom is suddenly extricating herself. Ah, you guys, it's so absolutely nuts. So this is the world of the narcissist. Total gossip, total drama, total I'm right and everybody needs to listen to me. And my version is somebody killed somebody. So everybody needs to believe this absolute crazy version. And if you think about it, if they all believe that, wouldn't the conclusion be, okay, we're going to have this sibling arrested? We're going to call the police and have this sibling arrested. I mean, does she really want this to go to that point 36 years later, after a person who'd been sick and ill and ailing and dying for months and now is confined to a bed? This is their father, and is unconscious, cannot even know who's around. He's not going to wake up, and the doctors know he's not going to wake up, so they send him home to pass away in peace. So you guys, that's the story. Now the rest of the story is, what do I do with this? And this is what I want to share with you, because I want to help you see what you can do when you're in a situation where a narcissist comes to you and lays out all their drama and expects you to take the narcissist side, of course, right? Or expects you to react in a way that feeds the narcissist's ego. And you are not willing to do that because you do not want to stay in Crazytown. In fact, you're hoping that the narcissist can come out of Crazytown, will come out of that crazy delusional story that they're stuck in, right? And I have seen this before with another narcissist friend of mine, and I had told some story about that as well. I think I had it in Narcissists Can't Handle the Truth. So I have his story in that. But what happens, you guys, is when a narcissist tells you they're going through this pain, they're going through trauma, your first reaction might be, or one of your reactions might be, a bit of empathy, right? You want to sympathize with them. You want to feel like, oh my gosh, I've been there. I've been in a place where people didn't believe me. And I've been in a place where I felt like, something, I need to share this truth with people. And then they turn around and say, well, maybe you didn't understand. We've been there, right? So you want to empathize with the narcissist. But what their downfalls, and this is the lesson today, you guys, there are a number of downfalls. I want to tell you there were 4 downfalls. 3 of them specifically have to do with you trying to get the narcissist out of Crazytown. So when you're trying to empathize with a narcissist by sharing, you might want to share your own failures or your insecurities or your experiences, because you're trying to make a connection, right, with the narcissist. So I had a choice here. Do I share with my mom, look, I've been through this, I understand, and give her instances of times when I've been through this, right? And we hope that this would result in understanding from the narcissist. We hope that this would help build a connection, a trust, right, between you and the narcissist, so that you can speak life into their situation. You can speak words that will build up, them up, but also take them out of Crazytown. This is why you think maybe sharing my failures, my insecurities, my experiences could help in this situation when they're stuck in this drama. But it's a drama that they create themselves, by the way. What will happen instead is you will be met with criticism, lowered respect, and of course, total misinterpretation. And I want to explain that. If I had told my mom, oh my gosh, yeah, I've been there, this has happened, and I share with her an instance in my life where someone has not believed me, or I felt wounded, what she would do is, first of all, she would vilify me. She would think, oh my gosh, well, maybe you deserved them not believing you, because narcissists are not sympathetic. They are not empathetic. They are not sympathetic. They do not see themselves in your situation, even if their situation is exactly the same as your situation. They will consider your situation different because you're not the victim. You're the villain. And in their story, they're the victim. Okay, I hope you are seeing this, right? Are you? I'll give you an even more specific example. The friend that I was talking about before went to two other people, and because he was going through problems, he had an alcohol problem, alcohol and womanizing problem. Okay, so the other two who were talking to him were telling him, one of them was sharing her story, trying to empathize, trying to share that wow, she'd been exactly where he is, and she felt ostracized. She felt like her world was coming down as people were finding out about this, and even though they were telling her they want to help her, they want her to get stronger and build up and recover, right? She felt, oh, I don't know if that's possible. I think they're going to hate me. I think they don't really care about me. And this is what he was going through, right? So she's trying to build this bridge of understanding, of empathy, of showing that she's been where he is. Because what's happening to him right now is it's getting exposed. People are finding out and they want to help him. But for a narcissist, being exposed means one thing: the gig is up. That's it. And they're scrambling to cover up the gig. They're trying to cover themselves. They're not interested in being accountable. They're not interested in being held responsible. They're not interested in recovering from the wound, right? Or trauma or the addiction. They're not interested in recovering from that. They want to continue doing what they're doing, and they want everybody else to look the other way. And it got to the point where people were not looking the other way anymore. Okay, so this woman, she shares with him her trauma, what happened to her. She got exposed through about gossip or something like that, right? She spoke really badly about somebody, and it was exposed and it was shared by everybody, and they saw what she had done, and she was super critical. She for instance, not just instance, what happened was that she criticized one of her coworkers for being overweight, like massively overweight. So she kind of joked about it and put that woman down, and this was shared with everybody. I think she accidentally sent the email to everybody or something like that. And so now it's all exposed. It's all out there what she thinks, and how, this is how ugly her mind was about this one coworker. Well, they brought it out, and the group got together, the office got together, and they talked about it, and she was reprimanded for having been gossipy about this. And then they said, but they want to forgive her, and she asked for apology, and it all got resolved. And anyway, with the narcissist, the way the narcissist saw this story was, no, you're a horrible person for having gossiped about this coworker. So you're not a victim, you're a horrible person. See, the narcissist vilified the person who's trying to connect to the narcissist by letting him know, look, I've been in a situation where I felt ostracized, I did something horrible, and I thought nobody could forgive me, but they did. They forgave me. And she wanted to tell the narcissist, people will forgive you too, and just come clean and, admit what you did. And we're a very forgiving bunch. And she's trying to show them how forgiving they are, because these same people forgave her. If they could forgive her, they can forgive him. Instead, what he saw in that story was, she's a horrible person. She's a gossiper. And she put down this one other person. And meanwhile, this same narcissist puts down that same person too. I mean, he had told me multiple times and put her down, the focus of the other person's email, had put her down about her weight. And he went on and on about how much he hated her. And anyway, I don't want to go into that, but it was disgusted about her weight, stuff like that. Went into great horrible detail about his disgust for her. And now he sees that another person felt the same way about the same person he felt this about, but now that other person's a villain, but he's not a villain, of course, right? This is what I mean. Total narcissistic crazy town. So point one was, even, when you try to connect with a narcissist and you share your life, your experiences, your insecurities, your failures, because you're trying to make a connection, because you're thinking with a normal person, they would appreciate that. They would appreciate your truthfulness and your vulnerability. Instead, what the narcissist does is they take that vulnerability and they will vilify you. They take the information that you give them, and they will paint this um, villain portrait of you now. Second thing that they will do. So there are three things I was saying they'll do if you try to share with them your life and your experiences in order to connect with them. Second thing, excuse me, you guys. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Ah. Oh, that's so good. Second thing that they will do is they will find you deeply flawed. Yes, they're going to think, oh my gosh, I thought you were such a wonderful person, and I thought you were so strong, and I thought that you were so good, but now I see you have flaws. You make mistakes. How dare you make mistakes? You're not as good as I thought you were. So now you are not this perfect person. Remember, because narcissists will idealize people. The people they keep in their life and they get supply from, they want to idealize because they want to see that they're going to be, they want to hang out with people they think are better, or can help them, or are in their stratosphere, right? In their status. So now you've just exposed that, oh, you made mistakes, and they're going to hold on to that. That's the thing that they will remember. Even if you tell them, like this woman did, how she had to humble herself. It takes tremendous strength and courage, by the way, to humble yourself in front of a group of people. It does. And she had to do that if she was going to recover any relationship, any respect, right? In that office. She had to humble herself and say how she was so wrong and apologize and did what she needed to do to make sure the other person felt her apology was sincere, right? So she had to humble herself. This is not what the narcissist will see. They will not see strength, courage in being truthful. They will not see that in being humble. They see it as weakness. They see you as flawed. Yeah, of course you have to do that because you made a huge mistake and you are a jerk, right? That's the way the narcissist will see it. The third thing that how the narcissist will react to you sharing your insecurities or your experiences with them or your failures with them is they will see you now as far beneath them. They will demote you. Yes, you are now no longer a person they can confide in because they don't see you now on their level anymore. You are not as wonderful as they are and perfect as they are now. So you are beneath them. They lose respect for you. They do not respect you anymore. Once you share with them your failures and your insecurities or your experiences. And it's not even to ask them to help you through these, because these are things that have happened in your past that you struggled through and you've overcome, right? They won't see that. They're going to see it as a flaw, as a mistake, and now you are a flawed person with problems, and they don't want to keep you on their level of respect. It's horrible. This is why I laugh. I'm so sorry, you guys. I know some people don't like it when I laugh, but I laugh because it's just absurd to me. It's absurd how someone can behave this way, right? This is why I do this channel, because before knowing all of this about narcissist, before knowing that there was such a thing as narcissistic personality disorder, I thought that the narcissists in my life could be reasoned with. I thought that I could connect with them. I could try and connect with them, and with enough effort, it would be successful, right? And it just wasn't. So this brings me to my fourth point. What happens really when you try to connect with a narcissist, when you try to bring them out of Crazytown, when you try to try to reach them, right? Where they are. You know they're enshrined or being swirled around in this crazy delusion that they're stuck in, and you're trying to pull them out by reasoning with them, by telling them some of your own stories and your own experiences. And you're doing this because you're hoping there will be a connection. There's not. That's the fourth thing. There's not going to be a connection. They just cannot connect with other people. They criticize other people. They label other people. They compete with other people. They're jealous of other people. So when you tell them anything at all, they will use it as ammunition to feed their jealousy, or to feed their disrespect for you, or to feed their need for gossip, right? For smearing you. Now they have ammunition to do that. So you're thinking, well, I know this horrible thing about them. So we're sort of like protected because I know stuff about them, and so now I'm willing to share stuff about me, and they won't smear me, because if they smear me, they know that their information is also at risk. No, narcissists do not think that way. They're not logical. That's why we do this. This is why we do this channel, because we want to inform people that narcissists are not logical. They will not follow rationality. They don't follow reason. They don't see people as valuable. And because they don't see people as valuable, unless suddenly they give it value. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, let me bring you back to this story. So those are the 4 points I wanted to share with you about what happens when you try to empathize with a narcissist. You try to bring them into your reality, right? And out of their crazy town. You try to share with them that you understand what they're going through. All that does is brings more trauma onto you. Yes, that's what happens. It's because you crossed over this boundary. It's a boundary that I have to share with you right now. The boundary is trust. You cannot trust a narcissist with anything about yourself, good or bad. Because even if it's good, okay, say you tell them a story of how you triumphed and how you did the right thing and you chose the right thing to do, they're not going to see it from that perspective. They're going to see the flaw. Maybe they'll see the triumph as you taking advantage of people. Maybe they'll see the triumph as you not facing other consequences that they think you should have faced. Oh my gosh, right? Maybe they'll see your triumph. And you'll hear this from their flying monkeys, by the way. When we go no contact, what do we hear? We hear that we're a terrible person, right? That's how narcissists will see you. And they're flying monkeys. And if you share with a narcissist, someone who's a covert narcissist, for example, that you're going no contact because somebody else in your life is toxic, what they will see is not you being strong. What they'll see is you being an insensitive, uncaring, terrible person for abandoning this other toxic person in your life. Are you seeing this? Are you now understanding how this is relating to your experiences with narcissists in your life? And they're flying monkeys. They will tell you that you're a bad person, you're a bad Christian, you're a bad Buddhist, you're a bad Muslim, you're a bad Jew, whatever it might be, right? For leaving a toxic person. So, hey, you guys, I just want to let you know, this little sidebar. What you're hearing right now is my new dog. We got a new dog for Christmas. So, woohoo! I love him. He is so wonderful, but he is quite a guard dog. Stop. Stop. Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't stop him from growling right now because someone just came home and he's like, oh, he's so crazy. He's so sweet. I love him. That's another thing, you guys. Love your animals. I love having I have 2 dogs now. It's so wonderful. One was great. I've had 2 for a long time. Then one passed away. Now we have 2 again. And it's like double the love, you guys. Okay, so let me get back to to what also happens to us when we share with a narcissist. But I want to see what's going on in the comments here. Oh, here we go. Oh, Lenny, good to see you. You guys, let me go up. I know I've missed a lot of comments. And let me see if I can find some comments that I don't know. I know there's so many comments, so I'm not going to be able to go through all the comments. Let me see if I can pick out a few. Yeah. Mike says that's definitely a problem. They don't want to move forward. They just keep moving backwards. Yeah. Persia Motorman, good to see you. Says you can't trust anyone nowadays is what the narcissist will tell you. But they are, in fact, the ones that we can't trust. Yep. Very, very true. Oh, a lot of good conversation coming from what I'm sharing here. Jihad, good to see you. Oh, let me see here, you guys. Oh, okay. I get some messages that say they're held for review and there's really no problem with them. I don't know why they don't show. Oh my gosh. Metal Gear says my ex-narc fiance tries to hoover me by sending me a picture of herself on Christmas Day, but I know better. I don't miss her, especially her manipulation. Yes. Okay, you guys, I'm going to come down and catch up with some comments, but I also want to share with you. I have a few other things I want to share with you because there is an answer to all of this. There is an answer. And I want to share with you also what I did when my mom came to me with this story. And more of the story, by the way, I want to share with you because it is very personal. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I had a very hard choice to make. Yeah. I'm just reading through your comments, you guys, because I want to. Oh my gosh. Okay. Universe says, I live in a country where people call you mad if you talk about narcissism. Well, that's weird. Yeah, they don't get it because they don't understand. And that's why it's so important to learn. And that, you guys, if you can share this channel. Oh, and let me ask you, and I should have asked at the beginning, but those of you who are still here, watch a commercial once in a while on my channel because that really helps me. I really earn barely anything. I'm telling you, maybe a cup of coffee, maybe a cup of coffee. Let me think, how much am I earning now? Maybe cup of coffee possibly every day. But definitely not a muffin and a coffee every day. But yeah, it's kind of sad. I don't even think it's a coffee every day. No, I'm not. I'm not earning that. I'm earning probably less than that. But that's not the thing. The thing is, I do hope that I can continue to do this. I may have to branch out and do other things, and that might take from this channel. So that's what I'm concerned about. Um, yeah, if you can watch a commercial once in a while, if you can recommend this channel or my videos to others once in a while, that would be great. So I would appreciate that. I know I'm not like the businesswoman out there. I know what I could do to promote this channel more and really make it big, but I'm not into that. I want to keep it where I can communicate with you guys. I want to keep it where I can stay anonymous and be truthful and open with you guys. And I also want to make sure that you guys are my focus. So that's my thing. You guys, it's so important that we learn about narcissistic personality disorder because you cannot treat everybody the same. You just can't. And those who are unaware of this, those who are unaware of NPD, right, narcissistic personality disorder, like Universe was saying, it's you're made fun of, or you're not encouraged or discouraged by for talking about narcissism. if people don't know about narcissism, they tend to try to treat everybody the same way. They try to use reason. They try to use logic. They try to use empathy. They share their vulnerabilities. They talk about, they share personal information about themselves with people who are not safe people. And narcissists are not safe people to share those things with. If you're a narcissist and you're watching this channel, ask yourself that. Like, how are you a safe person to others who have shared information with you? Other people who have shared their personal information with you. How has it been safe? Have you been supportive of them or have you been critical of them? Did you see them as the victim or did you see them as the perpetrator? Did you go out and gossip about them and tell other people what they told you in confidence, right? That's what narcissists do. So if you're a narcissist and you see that you've been doing this, question yourself. Um, Now, if you think that you're a narcissist, but I think maybe you're probably not a narcissist, but you're doing these things, you will change. You will change these things in your life. You will stop smearing people. You will stop being unsympathetic, right? You'll actually hear somebody who's trying to help you. You'll hear their story without criticizing them. You'll anyway, so you guys know, you'll make those changes that you need to make in order to become stronger, better, healthier. So yeah. Yeah, Crystal says, my sister drags up things from the past all the time. If there's no current drama, she drudges up past drama, most of which she invented, yes, or majorly skewed, yes. uh it's so draining. Crystal, exactly, exactly. And this is why I'm telling you this. It was just unbelievable to me that my mom was dragging up something from 36 years ago. And the only way you can bring up something from 36 years ago is it has to be big. So it has to be murder, right? Oh my gosh. So she's thinking that her sister murdered their father. And her sister, listen, she's no angel, but I don't think she's a narcissist. She does have problems. She's narcissistic, in that she acts out of her wounding, like a lot of us do, right? A lot of people act out of their wounding if they're not healed, if they're not strong enough and learn enough about their wounding to not lash out at other people when they're triggered. Well, that's how narcissists live. They live and thrive within drama, and especially drama that separates people. So be careful of that. um Here's the other thing. Okay, you guys, I know there's so many comments here and you guys are saying a lot of really good things. C. Thomas says, my sister would just go off on me, the verbal abuse, until I told her I'm not having it anymore. She hasn't called me in months, but I don't mind. Too toxic. Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing that. Those are the costs that we have to be willing to make to cut toxic people out of our life, or to cut the toxicity out of our life. You have to be willing to possibly have them leave, right? You have to be willing to have them go no contact, because you have to tell them your boundary is no more toxicity. You cannot be calling me names. If you're calling me names and you're using foul language and you're cursing at me, I'm leaving, right? And you can walk out the door. Have your exit plan. And then also realize when you do that, they are going to change the story to somehow you're at fault and they had to yell at you or they didn't yell at you. And they're going to change the story, like Crystal was saying. They're going to distort the story in a way that makes them look like the victim. And now they're possibly going to smear you, and they're going, not possibly, they will smear you, and they will go possibly no contact with you. So you have to be willing to accept that cost to cut the toxicity out of your life. And let me tell you, it's worth it. It really is worth it. At first we think, no, we want to keep this person in our life. And let me tell you, if my mom were toxic like that, she would not be in my life. She just wouldn't. She doesn't do that with me anymore. And this brings me to the rest of her story. Okay, you guys? The rest of her story is she wants me to feel sympathy for her by telling me how badly her her stepmom treated her, my grandfather's wife, right? So she talks about how my stepmom would beat her and would lie about her and gossip about her and turn people against her. And I have sympathy for that, because guess why? I went through that. I went through that with my narcissist. My mom did the same thing to me. She beat me. She told, if you have been part of my channel for a while, you'll know my story a bit. She has done that to me. She has smeared me, lied about me, told people I did things I never did, like that I had lost my virginity at a certain age, which when I did not, right? I didn't. I was such a, I was such a boring, plain good girl. Let me tell you but that's not interesting enough for her to be able to spin a story to for her friends to feel sorry for her. So she had to make me sound like I'm this crazy, horrible, out of control teenager, which I was not at all. And not only that, like, people knew me. There was another person in my school with the same last name. And I remember my dad came home one day from his work, and he heard that this child with that last name, um, let's just say Smith, right? The Smith girl. Oh, heard the Smith girl was doing drugs and, hanging out with this guy who's known to be, have a ton of girlfriends, sleeps around a lot. And this is in high school. So my dad comes home, and he heard this going around the office, and he talked to somebody about it, and they said to him, or he said, "You mean, uh, I'm just gonna," they said my name, that girl, um, or he said that to them. He asked them, "My daughter," and they said to him, "Oh no, not your daughter. Your daughter's a straight arrow. Everybody knows this. She would not be involved like that. It's the other Smith girl." So you understand, I had a reputation in my school of being that person because I didn't ever go to the parties. I didn't. Anyway, I'm not, not that I'm. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that my mom had to spin her interpretation of me as some horrible, hellion, terrible, crazy biker chick or something, I don't know. She was just nuts, drug infested, sleeping with every guy type of person to her friends so that they can feel sorry for her as a mother. So here she is telling me how her stepmom did the same thing with her, told everybody that she slept around, told everybody, or, how horrible my mom was because she's the stepdaughter, of course, right? And I'm like, I'm listening to this. And she described to me how her stepmom used to beat her. And let me tell you, it was like almost listening to my story because it was the same things that she had done to me. So I had a choice here. I was looking at her and I had to control myself. Had to control myself because I had a choice of saying to her, well, you know what? You did the same thing to me. Would that help the situation? I had to think about that. Would that? No, it would absolutely not help the situation, whether my mom was a narcissist or not. But especially because she's a narcissist, it would have backfired in a most horrible, violent way. And we would have ended up in this huge fight where she would have started attacking me, and it would have blown up into be this crazy drama fest Christmas, right? Which I did not want to have. So what do? I listen. I sympathize because you know what? Let me take myself out of this situation. That's what I had to think about. Let me take myself out of this situation. And if I was just listening to her as somebody who's a friend, right? Who is caring, I would just sympathize and say, wow, that is hard. It is hard when people don't understand you or think that you misunderstood something and you feel like they are not believing you. I get that. I understand that. Do I need to bring in my story, my background, my trauma? No. First of all, because she's a narcissist and it would be completely unsafe with her, no matter what story I want to share with her. If I want to share with her what she had done, oh, now you're seeing my puppy. Just poked in. Oh, this puppy. Anyway, she could have taken it out of context and I'm sorry, you guys, the puppy kind of distracted me. but she definitely would have turned it back against me, right? Even if the story had nothing to do with her. If I had shared with her another time when I was abused or hurt by other people, she, and she hadn't, it wasn't even about her, she would still turn that story against me. Just like I was explaining to you earlier, the 3 things that go wrong when you try to share with a narcissist, and the fourth one meaning being that there will be no connection made. So what did I do? What do you do when you're in that situation, when you're listening and you hear the narcissist tell you the kind of abuse they're receiving, but it's the exact same abuse that they dish out to you, right? You've been at the receiving end of their abuse. Yeah, and you feel like, what the heck? This is so unfair, that they feel like they want to get sympathy from me, someone that they've abused and hurt and treated in the exact same way. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like standing there, just, all this is going on in my head. But what do I do? What do I do with this, right? That's the question. And I want to share with you because I want you to learn, just like I did in that moment, what I was capable of doing, and what capable of good and bad, by the way. I was capable of turning this into a giant, huge, disastrous fight, but I chose not to. This is not the place nor the time, and may never ever be the place or the time with a narcissist. And I'm thinking probably won't. Uh, I cannot share my heart with the narcissist. I can't. I can't share with them my vulnerabilities. I can't share with them my experiences, even the same experiences that I had with the narcissist, because that exposes them. And now you're opening up a new problem. And the problem is, if you try to approach the narcissist to hold them accountable, that's a whole other fight that you're opening up. Okay. So I wanted to share with you, those who don't know about narcissistic personality disorder, they would act like a normal friend, right? A normal friend would try to reason, or a normal sibling, child, parent, coworker, or partner. They think that if they think that their narcissistic partner is normal, that's how it blows up into a giant, crazy, huge fight. You cannot approach a narcissist like they're normal. You can't reason with them. You can't show them that they're being hypocritical. Like, you could show a normal person they're being hypocritical without, you don't want to say, hey, you're a hypocrite. But you can say, when you did that, it's kind of, the same thing. And then they might be like, oh my gosh, you're right. I didn't think of that, and they can understand, and they'll fix it. With a narcissist, you say, well, you kind of did the same thing. They'll get defensive and they will start attacking you. And that's why a lot of times during the holidays, the family gatherings, it blows up into these crazy, insane fights with the narcissist, because people are trying to treat the narcissist like a normal person. Your other family members think the narcissist is a normal person, and they think they can reason with them. So what happens then is that you just open, I knew that if I did that, I would just open myself up for more abuse from the narcissist. If I tried to tell her, oh my gosh, though, you did the same thing to me. You treated me the same way that your stepmom treated you. It would blow up into a huge abusive tirade from the narcissist. And I already learned, like, don't do that. You can, here's the other choice I had with my narcissistic mom. I could just love them. I could just love her. Like, you know what? Let me be sympathetic to you. I know that she's hurting, because in her mind, whether her siblings are attacking her or not, whether her siblings are calling her a liar or not, and they weren't calling her a liar, they weren't attacking her, they just were thinking she misunderstood. But she sees this as an attack and calling her a liar. Because she feels this way, she feels very wounded. So I can sympathize with that wounding, right? The sense of not being believed. So I gave her sympathy. I gave her kindness. And I just told her, yeah, it's hard when somebody doesn't believe you. But now here's the other thing you can do for the narcissist without sharing your experiences or failures or anything like that and making yourself vulnerable. You can still share your wisdom with them. And that's what I did. I shared with her a nugget of wisdom. And the wisdom was, I told her, you can tell people the truth, Mom. You can tell them the truth, but you can't make them believe you. You cannot make other people do anything, right? You can't make them behave the way you want them to behave to what you're saying. You can only say to them what you want to say, and then it's in their court to do what they want to do. Like they get to do with that what they want to do. And it is out of your hands. If you believe that your sister gave your father a lethal injection, okay, now you told the family. I don't think she should have told the family that. I think that she was not accurate in this, but she did. She told the family. I didn't say any of that stuff to her, right? That part. I kept that to myself, but I shared the wisdom with her, which is you cannot make other people believe what you tell them. You told them it's off your chest now, and you felt like you needed to tell them that, okay? Whether that was right or not, I don't know, right? I mean, I know, but I'm not going to tell her because she's a narcissist, and you just cannot ever get to a rational ending with a narcissist. So I just kept repeating that to her. Every time she told me the same story over and over again about how she was not believed and how they don't trust her, how they, that hurts her, I had to keep telling her, you cannot make other people believe you. You can only tell them. And, just because they don't believe doesn't mean they hate you or they don't love you. And by the way, her siblings, they love her. As you know, and I know, narcissists have people who love them because there are normal people in this world, right? And we love and we care regardless of what other people do. We care about them. And so she does have people who love her in her family. And that's what I had to redirect her to, is remember that just because they don't believe you about this one, because, it's hard for them to believe this, it is. So it's okay though, if they don't believe, it doesn't mean that they don't love you. So you see what I did there? I gave her wisdom and I redirected her. Those are the two things that you can do when you're dealing with a toxic, narcissistic person. Now, I want to share with you also that we cannot make the narcissist believe us or take our wisdom and use it, right? We can't make them receive it the way we hope either. We just can't. We can only give it, right? We give them the wisdom. We help to redirect their anger, their pain, their vengeance. We can redirect that so that they see that there's, at least hopefully see, you can remind them that they are still loved, that this does not mean what they think it means, right? Because narcissists will take something and transfer meaning to it that doesn't belong there. So what her siblings, when they were not trusting or believing that what she was saying, doesn't mean that they hate her. It just means they don't believe it because it's hard for them to believe, or they're not sure. They can't fathom that that's what happened. But now they have to process it. Give them time to process. And even if they never come to the conclusion that you came to, right? The narcissist I'm talking to, right? Even if they never come to the conclusion that the narcissist came to, my mom came to, that doesn't mean they don't love my mom. They still love her and they still care about her. She's still their sibling. So there you go. That's what you can do. You guys, I'm just looking to see if I gave them or gave you guys all the information I wanted to. Yeah. You try to connect with them because you think, if I connect with them, if I share with them my past failures and my experiences, or where I went through the exact same thing that they did, you do this because you want them to see that your advice is valid. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the narcissist whether your advice is valid or not, because what they want is to be right. Okay? They just want you to agree with them. They want you to see it their way. They want you to see that they're the victim. And if you're giving them advice, even though you're showing them, I've been exactly where you were, where you are right now. I have, you share with them almost exactly the same situation, such as like I had, right, with my mom. It would only get them to turn against you. And remember from the beginning, those of you who are new here, the first three things I said was when you're trying to share your failures or insecurities or experiences with a narcissist, they don't respond by being thankful that you're opening up and that you're sharing your heart with them. They don't feel closer to you because of that, which would be normal, right? Instead, what they will do are three things. They'll vilify you, they'll see you as deeply flawed, and they will see you, they will lose respect for you and see you as far beneath them. And then that never actually gives you a connection to them. So you sharing your heart with them, you sharing your personal information with them, your personal stories with them, only makes you now vulnerable to their abuse. So now they will take that information and share it with other people. They'll transform it into a story where somehow they inject themselves as the hero in your story, which is bizarre. I have seen this happen as well. It's so crazy. And anyway, so that's where we are, you guys. This whole delusional, crazy town that they live in, you want to rescue them out of it. You want to try to help them come out of, off of that delusional train, but you can't make them. All you can do is give them wisdom and redirect them. And it's up to them to go back onto the track that they've been on, the delusional track, or they could choose to listen to the truth. They could listen to your wisdom, but it's all up to them. You cannot make them come out of Crazytown. And the sad thing that I see with narcissists is they're not willing to come out of Crazytown. And, that's the thing that really was disappointing to me. So disappointing to me in this conversation with my mom is that I was hoping against all hope. Stop it. I got a new dog, you guys, so he's quite a watchdog. Anytime we have people walking around the house, he goes into watch. Stop it. Okay, but I love him. He's cuddly, so we're keeping him. Yeah, you want to bring them out of Crazytown because you love them and you care about them, but they won't come out. They just choose to stay. I was hoping that my mom was at that point where she was willing to listen, was willing to open up, but all I saw was that she wanted drama in her life again. Her life got to the point where there was not tremendous drama splitting the family, so she had to come up with something. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is what I think actually happened. Okay, so I gave you the version of what my mom said happened. That her sister told her that she gave my grandfather a lethal injection that euthanized him. That's what she believes. Instead of, the doctors gave my aunt a bunch of morphine so that she could administer the morphine to help my grandfather not be in pain on his way out of this world, right? So she doesn't see it this way. What I think happened was, so here we are, 36 years later, these two sisters have been back and forth in, my mom, along with the other narcissistic brother, other uncle, the two of them have split the family up multiple times, tried to divide the family, and mostly it has been the two of them or one of them against the rest of the family. It's never been any of the other family hating each other or splitting each other up. It's always been those two, either separating from the family or forcing the family to separate from them, or the two of them together against the family. It's just Crazytown. So what I think happened with this third sister is that she after 36 years of this crazy drama, right? And things seem to be calming down. Like I was telling you, there's not all this drama in the family for the last few years. Um, she was probably feeling like she was kind of close to her narcissistic sister, my mom. This is where you might find yourself too sometimes, right? With your narcissistic family members or friends who you think, oh, there hasn't been drama in a while. Maybe they've changed. Maybe they're okay now. So you get in contact with them again and things seem to be okay. Like your interaction is not abusive and you're like, wow, it wasn't toxic and they didn't get into this crazy gossiping mode and they weren't putting people down and they seem pretty pleasant. Maybe they've changed. So this is what I think her sister had seen in my mom. That, oh, because let me tell you, nobody else in this family knows about narcissistic personality disorder. So of course they're not seeing the narcissistic brother and the narcissistic sister as people who are different than them. All right. So my aunt probably thought, oh, she's going through a thing right now with my mom's stepmom, so her mom, where my grandmother is not doing well and she's in the hospital for a few months and she's got dementia, so she's not really cognizant of what's going on and she goes in and out of clarity, right? But so my aunt is her primary caretaker and she's sharing with my mom what's going on with her mom, right? My grandmother, somewhat similar to what they had gone through with my grandfather 36 years ago as he was on his way out of this world. So she's sharing with her, it conjures up memories of the grandfather because my grandmother might be on her way out as well, but not quite there yet. But my aunt is anticipating this is going to happen soon. So then she's sharing with my mom, who she thinks is more calm, more normal, and has changed, right, through the years to be a good person and is no longer this crazy, dramatic, traumatic person in the family. She shares with my mom her experience of what happened with my grandfather and is reliving it with my mom, thinking like this can be a connection for the two of them because they share a father, right? So she's sharing with my mom what is, something that's heartfelt. My mom wasn't there for the actual death of my grandfather, so she's sharing with my my mom what happened and thinking that this could bring them closer. This could be a common ground for them, right? Because they both loved their father. So, or at least respected him to some point. Here's the other thing. Oh my gosh, there's so much in my family history. My grandfather was alcoholic and abusive. And to hear my mom tell the stories about him before, you would think she would hate him, but now he's, the only thing she says about him is like he's an angel. I'm just thinking, okay, whatever you want to say, Mom. But so suddenly now she's defending this man who she had told me before abused her tremendously, and she's all upset 36 years later that maybe her sister did him in. So, yeah. But the sister thought that she was making a connection with my mom, thought that she was sharing with my mom because now she's got a concern about her mom, my grandmother, facing that soon, facing hospice soon. So that's what happens, you guys, when you think that things are safe. When the lake seems placid, right? When the water seems safe to get into. And suddenly, the moment you get into it, you realize there are alligators in there and they will come up and snatch you. And that's what happens with narcissists. So be very careful when you think, oh, they seem to have changed. I think I can share my heart with them now. I think I can share my experiences and my failures and connect with them. I think I can share with them my concerns and worries and anxieties because I want them to see I'm just like them. I have concerns and anxieties too. And you think you're making a connection with them. That's not going to happen with a narcissist. It does happen with normal people, but it doesn't happen with a narcissist. So you guys, that has been what I have learned, what has been fortified for me. I wanted to share that with you because as you continue to heal, and those of you who are just starting to consider no contact, the reason for no contact is because you cannot treat the narcissist the same way you treat a normal friend or a normal parent or a normal sibling or a normal co-worker. You just can't, or a normal spouse. You just can't. They don't have your back. In fact, they're the ones with the dagger in your back. So be very careful. I've talked before about boundaries, and this is one of those boundaries, is trust. You can love a narcissist, but you cannot trust a narcissist. And love and trust are not the same thing. So they try to convince you, a narcissist will, that if you love someone, you would trust them completely. Actually, no, you can love someone without trusting them completely. You can show them kindness and you can care for them. I love my mom. I care about her. I would never hurt her, but I don't trust her because I have to be smart. I have to be wise for myself. And being wise for myself is not a bad thing. I'm sorry, my dog keeps growling. Stop growling. Everybody who's here belongs here. So, yeah, he's totally protective of me. He loves me, I know, so much, this puppy. He's just wandering around me right now. Okay. So, you guys, I wanted to share with you that what I had written as I was thinking about this. You bring up, you try to reason with them because you want to get them off the crazy delusional train. But what you have to do is you have to redirect them, get them to pull into another station. Instead of vengeance or further smearing, point them in a positive direction to focus their energies on something good. Give them wisdom without associating it to how you used it. You can't make people believe you. You can only tell them the truth and let them decide what they want to do with it. That's the wisdom I gave my mom. Now, I didn't put that myself into that wisdom, right? I didn't have to try to connect with her by showing her how I used that wisdom. I just shared the wisdom. You want to be the person you're striving to be. So in the midst of your interaction with a narcissist, be the person you want to be. Choose the high road and become the kind of person you would love to have as a friend. Be the smart, kind, funny, wise, creative, interesting, strong, adventurous, approachable, reliable, but quirky and fun person. And you can do all of that. You can be that way, even with a narcissistic person. You can be that way. You just can't share your personal information with them, good or bad. And this is what has been reaffirmed for me through my interaction with my mom this past Christmas. And guess what? I feel so good about myself. I came out of it and I'm not traumatized by it. But let me tell you, one thing I did have to do through that was I had to be real with myself. Now, when I was away from my mom after that conversation, I had to tell myself what I hated about that conversation. I hated the fact that she couldn't see that she did the same thing to me. I hated the fact that I knew more about her father than she now was, selectively choosing to tell me. I knew he wasn't some angel, and I know more about her siblings than she's willing, to portray them at that point in her story. Suddenly now they're so villainous, and I know them differently than that. So I was really angry, and I was very hateful of the fact that the truth was not there. I said, I was like, I hate this, I hate that, and I said out loud to myself, right, quietly, of course. And my husband was there, and when he was there, I got to share with him like all my frustration about that conversation. I had to be real about it, and we had to be quiet though because we were in the same house with my mom. I had to be real about that with myself and face the truth about it and lay out the truth for myself. And then once I laid out all that truth, I was like, okay, I know all of that is true, but what am I going to choose to do? I'm going to choose the high road. I'm going to choose to be kind and loving and strong and approachable and reliable. I'm going to be myself. So, because I was myself, because I chose to do that, I feel great. It has been a wonderful Christmas. It has been a wonderful, you know, experience, even there, with the narcissist in my family. I got to give her love, and I feel good about that. I feel good that I was able to give her love and understanding and kindness. And I keep praying for her, though, that hopefully she will change. I don't know that she will, but I still pray for that call one day where she wants to have a real heart to heart conversation with me, where she will actually tell me she's sorry for what she did. I know that's not going to happen, but you know what? I'm going to keep hoping. And I hope this for you guys too, that you will find health in your relationships. Keep the healthy ones, stay close to the healthy ones, stay strong in the unhealthy ones, right? Um, be in control of the ones that are unhealthy. Be in control of yourself. You can't control the other person, but set your boundaries and know who you are. Keep being the person that you want to be. Don't let the narcissist or anybody else divert you from that and then make you regret what you do or say or feel. So, sorry, you guys, there's my dog again. Much love to you guys. Lots of hugs, and I wish you such an amazing week. I will see you next week. I think it would be after New Year's, right? So I'll see you next year. So blessings to you guys. I hope this has helped. If it does, please recommend it. Please get others to subscribe and listen to my podcast and give me a review if you can. That would be great. Love it. Love you guys. I love doing this. I'm so glad that we got to do this. So have a great week, you guys.